I'm not a plumber. Carpenter. I'm a captain. But the plumbing was the least of his worries. A message had arrived. Admiral Iron Pants. Rafferty was coming for a sneak inspection. Rafferty was a man who looked for dust on a coconut and insubordination in a palm frond. If Rafferty sees this place, Binghamton whispered, his eyes widening, he'll have my stripes for breakfast. My stomach acid could start a Buick. I need a way out. I need a miracle, or I need to be very, very sick. And so, the seeds of the greatest comedic disaster in the history of the United States Navy were sown. Chapter 1, The Acting Commander Caper. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity and devious in its intent. If Binghamton was critically ill, he could appoint an acting base commander. And who better to fail spectacularly in front of Admiral Rafferty than that thorn in his side, Commander Quentin McHale? McHale and his cutthroats from PT-73 were legendary for their disregard for naval protocol. If McHale were in charge, Taratupa would be a circus within 20 minutes. Rafferty would arrive, see the chaos, and destroy McHale's career. Binghamton would simply recover later, a tragic victim of temporary illness who had tried his best to delegate. McHale? Binghamton moaned from a makeshift sickbed, his face powdered to a ghostly pallor. I'm in bad shape. The medics, they don't know what it is. I have to appoint an acting commander. McHale stood over him, looking remarkably healthy and suspicious. Well, sir, Lieutenant Carpenter here is ready to. Carpenter is a boob. Binghamton yelled, then quickly remembered to moan. A lovely boob, but a boob nonetheless. It has to be you, McHale. And I'm appointing your ensign, Parker, as the acting executive officer. Ensign Charles Parker, a man who could trip over a shadow in an empty room, beamed. Oh boy, did you hear that, Skipper? Acting exec. You won't regret this, Captain. I know, Binghamton whispered with a secret, wicked grin. I know I won't. As McHale and Parker marched out to take command, Binghamton settled back into his pillows. This is going to be one of the happiest illnesses of my life. Chapter 2, The Hula Inspection. Under McHale's leadership, Taratupa did not just relax, it unraveled. Within hours, the Petty Officers Club was no longer a place of backed-up sinks. It was a festival. The crew of the 73, Gruber, Tinker, Virgil, and the rest, had managed to secure a shipment of garter belts and, somehow, a group of hula dancers. In the command office, the phones were ringing off the hook. Parker was juggling reports on air raids, supply lists, and the location of a local shindig. Skip, the boys want to throw a little action. Gruber shouted over the din. Full speed ahead, Gruber. McHale laughed, leaning back with his feet on the desk. If the men are happy, the base is happy. However, the happiness was short-lived. A jeep roared toward the office. Out stepped Admiral Iron Pants Rafferty. Welcome to Taratupa, sir, McHale said, snapping a salute that was slightly too casual for Rafferty's liking. Acting Base Commander McHale at your service. Rafferty looked at Parker, who was wearing a native lei over his uniform. What the devil is that thing around your neck, ensign? Oh, an old native custom, sir. Parker stammered. Welcome ashore. Piranha. I mean P.P. Parker. Rafferty's eyes narrowed. I heard Binghamton was in the hospital. I'll pay my respects. And then we begin the inspection. And it better be shipshape, McHale. The inspection was a disaster of biblical proportions. As they walked the base, Rafferty kept hearing the faint sounds of ukulele music. Binghamton, desperate to ensure McHale's downfall, escaped the hospital in a seaman's uniform to tip off the admiral about the hula dancers hidden in the air raid shelter. They're in there, Admiral. Hula girls. Why was it death's door? Binghamton cried, pointing a trembling finger. But McHale was faster. By the time Rafferty opened the shelter, the girls were gone, and the crew was performing a fire drill with suspicious intensity. Captain Binghamton, Rafferty said, staring at the captain who was currently dressed as a lowly seaman. Why are you running around screaming about hula girls in a private's uniform? Is it combat fatigue? Hallucinations? But they were there. I saw them. Binghamton wailed. Back to the hospital, Captain, Rafferty sighed. And if you're real good, maybe you'll get your stripes back someday. McHale winked at Parker. Taratupa was safe for now. Chapter 3. The Sultan and the Sailor. No sooner had Rafferty departed than a new challenge arrived. The Sultan of Marami. He was a man of immense wealth, 3 beautiful daughters, and a temper like a dormant volcano. He was visiting Taratupa to seek naval protection from the Nips. Binghamton, recovered and desperate to regain favor with the Navy Department, went all out. Everything must be 100% in order, McHale. If you and your riffraff ruin this, I'll have you bunking in a shark cage. The Sultan arrived with his daughters, the princesses. The crew of PT-73 was mesmerized. Parker, naturally, found himself accidentally on a date with Princess Siri after a boat ride gone wrong. In Marami, her name means happiness, Gruber told Parker. I'm more interested in survival, Parker replied, trembling as he had Siri from the Sultan. The conflict peaked at a formal dinner. The Sultan's daughters were supposed to perform a traditional dance. However, Siri was missing, trapped on a conked-out boat with Parker. Desperate to save the evening and their skins, the crew of PT-73 did the only logical thing. They put on drag. Gruber and Tinker, draped in silks and veils, attempted to perform a native dance that looked more like a wrestling match between 2 sacks of flour. Binghamton was horrified. One of these girls is an imposter. You phony Balinese bunny, he yelled, ripping the veil off. Well, not a crewman, but an actual princess. Captain, how dare you, the Sultan roared. Your unpardonable behavior will be reported to the State Department. My daughters, we leave. Why me? Binghamton sobbed, watching his career sail away again. Why is it always me? Chapter 4. The Laughing Gas of Law and Order. The feud between Binghamton and Parker reached a boiling point when Parker, while driving the 73 under the influence of dental anesthesia, accidentally ran over the captain's dinghy. A fitness board. Binghamton screamed, his eyebrows still singed from a previous accident. I'm going to break you down to Seaman Second Class, so fast your head will spin. The crew of PT-73 couldn't let their beloved, bumbling ensign be railroaded. They knew Binghamton's weakness, his inability to be happy. Laughing gas, McHale whispered, eyeing a tank from the dental clinic. If we can get old Leadbottom into a good mood, he'll sign anything. He might even promote Parker to admiral. The plan involved spraying the shrubs near Binghamton's office to ward off the imaginary frangipani fly. In reality, they were pumping nitrous oxide to a window. The effect was instantaneous. Binghamton, usually a man whose face was set in a permanent scowl, began to giggle. Chucky Wucky, Binghamton chirped, hugging a bewildered Parker. You torpedoed the garbage scout? What a riot. Those potato peels could have fooled anyone. Sir, you want to cancel the fitness board? Parker asked, hope dawning. Cancel it? I want a throw party. Let's dance, McHale. You're all such lovely pirates. However, the gas wore off just as Admiral Shoemaker arrived for the hearing. Binghamton was found dancing on a table, chasing a nurse and shouting about Bingy Winky. Binghamton, have you lost your mind? Shoemaker demanded. Just then, an air raid siren blared. Parker, still slightly buzzed but fueled by a sudden burst of adrenaline, manned a machine gun and, miraculously, shot down a Japanese bomber while standing out in the open, laughing in the face of death. Magnificent, Shoemaker cried. A man who stands laughing in combat. Parker, you're a hero. Binghamton, You're a disgrace for trying to court-martial this brave lad. Binghamton simply collapsed into a chair. It's the gas. It's the flies. I want to go home. Chapter 5. Sydney and the 62,000. The stakes were raised when the base payroll arrived. $62,000 in small, unmarked bills. Binghamton, determined to trap McHale, had the money marked. He accidentally dropped his wallet near the 73's dock, hoping they'd swipe it. But he didn't count on Sydney. Sydney was a local alligator with a penchant for Ensign Parker's mother's peanut butter sandwiches. When Sydney saw the leather wallet, he didn't see currency. He saw a snack. Sydney ate the captain. Parker screamed, finding the alligator with Binghamton's ID card in its mouth. He didn't eat the captain, you boob, McHale sighed. He ate the wallet. Binghamton was